That's our weekly press release for the Eufaula Fire Department. This is going to be going from the incident dates of October 20th to October 27th. During that time frame, we had a grand total of 38 incidents, varying degrees, with the majority of them, of course, being EMS in nature. We did have one motor vehicle accident with injuries, aircraft standby. We also had one building fire, and I left y'all a copy of the incident report on that. The building fire was at I believe it was 530 TV McCoo Boulevard. They went in and they noticed smoke coming out of the eaves of the house, and they come to find out that they had a stove fire. Actually, not a stove fire, but they had a fire that from accumulated grease in the actual vent pipe that evacuates of course, your grease-laden vapors and everything out. I don't believe it was vented properly. It was just vented into the attic where it's supposed to be vented completely out, but that's where the fire actually started, was on the inside of the ductwork. They went up into the attic. They found some smoldering insulation and things and all that in nature, and they put it out. They did note that there were some damage to the wiring and a little bit of structural damage, but not much. But they were able to get it knocked out before it got going too terribly fast. So, and other than that, that's about what we've had for the week.
I've got
no injuries. Yeah, no problem. No injuries.
I've got a question.
Sure.
Friday afternoon, getting ready to go to the football game, we go early. There was all kinds of fire department activity. There was Texasville came in here, White Oak came in here, all headed north of town. Do you have any idea what that was all about?
I have no idea. Like I said, I've been out with my wife for surgery this last week, so to be honest with you, nothing in our incident reports or anything. Now, there may have been a wildland fire or something like that north of town that they called for mutual aid, but I wouldn't have any documentation on anything like that.
Okay. All right, and then they said there was two other things going on at the same time when I called. First of all, I called down here. No, first I called Central. Couldn't get an answer because they were all busy. They were all out. Then I called the chief, found out he was out of town, and talked to him. He didn't know what it was all about. And so I don't know what these three major incidences was, but they were something.
Well, in a lot of cases, if it's county 911 or county dispatch, we won't hear it here in Eufaula because that's on a different frequency. We don't monitor that. Now, if they need us to respond or somebody requests, 911 dispatch will turn around and call us directly. But we don't monitor the 911 frequency for the county. That's a different line, if you will. Some people have it in their scanners, and they will individually, but as a whole, we don't.
Okay.
Normally, we're busy enough on our own.
Well, it seemed to be a busy time because when I called down here for the non-emergency number, they said we are covered up.
Well, it would be, and that's an assumption, and you know what to say about that. But it would be a good assumption to say that it was a fire of some sort, because Texasville and them don't run EMS, so it would basically be a mutual aid agreement that they would have, and I'm pretty sure it would be along the line. I have not heard of any major structure fires, but it may have been a grass fire or an actual woods fire, something like that. But we could check with 911 dispatch, and they could probably let you know on that.
I'm Sergeant Brown with Eufaula Police Department. This is our information reports from October 23rd through October 27th. During that time period, we had a total of 6 arrests. On a traffic arrest, we had 1 for DUI. We had, on a misdemeanor arrest, we had 1 for domestic violence, 1 disorderly conduct, 1 resisting arrest, 1 for possession of marijuana, and 1 attempting to elude law enforcement officer. In that time period, we investigated 9 accidents. On our incident offense report, we had a possession of marijuana second that occurred at Eufaula Avenue and State Docks. We had a nuisance animal, an animal at large that occurred in Julianne Court. We had a theft of property second and a possession of controlled substance that occurred on Jefferson Street. We had a theft of property third that occurred on Sanford Street. We had a domestic violence third that occurred on South Eufaula Avenue. Change bill circulating, which would be somebody trying to pass off some counterfeit bills on South Eufaula Avenue. We had a resisting arrest and attempting to elude a police officer somewhere in the area of McDonald on South Eufaula Avenue. We had a burglary third and a theft of property second that occurred on South Orange Avenue. We had a burglary third and a theft by deception occurred on North Eufaula Avenue. Theft of property second that occurred on Davis Street. We had a negotiating a worthless instrument, bad check on South Eufaula Avenue. Burglary third and theft of property third that occurred on Chattahoochee Courts. We had a theft of property third on Walnut Lane. We had a domestic violence third that occurred on South Orange Avenue. That was a female and her boyfriend, I believe. Animals killing, injuring other animals, injuring another animal, and animals at large that occurred on 5 Mile Road. We had a criminal mischief third on Cotton Avenue. We had an unattended death on Cotton Hill Road. We had a theft of services third and a criminal mischief third that occurred on Livingston Avenue. And we had an information report on some found property on State Docks Road. That found property was some red boat cutter that we believe might have been involved in a burglary. We had on our arrest reports, we had the arrest of Mr. James Dion Corbett, 33-year-old male here from here, Eufaula. We had an arrest of Benjamin Lee Holloway, 31-year-old male from here, Eufaula. And the arrest of Jamal Christopher McElroy, 25-year-old male, also from here, Eufaula. We had the arrest of Robert Lee Hicks, 32-year-old male, also from here, Eufaula. And we had the arrest of, I'm sorry, let me go back and tell you what they were arrested for. Guess I should tell you that. Mr. Corbett was arrested for domestic violence third. Mr. Holloway was arrested for driving under the influence. Mr. McElroy was arrested for disorderly conduct that occurred in Norman Street, and Robert Lee Hicks was arrested for possession of marijuana second. Also, Mr. Kendall Gilbert, age 28, was arrested for resisting arrest and attempting to elude police officers. And one other thing, we got Friday's going to be Halloween, and we have extra officers working that night out on the streets as well, and we have several extra officers on duty. We're asking all the motorists to be very cautious of the children walking in from residential neighborhoods, and be especially cautious of those walking in those neighborhoods. Be, trying to drive at a moderate speed, where you can stop easily and kids are trying to cross the road. We're asking the parents to review all those safety issues with the kids as far as trick-or-treating goes. Try to wear some clothing that that illuminates them, and so the kids can be easily seen. Check the candy. I always check the candy before the kids eat it. Tell the kids try not to eat it before they get home, so that they can check the candy and make sure nothing's in the candy. Nobody's trying to do anything crazy with the candy and stuff like that. But just ask for just extra caution when it comes to the trick-or-treating. We will be out in force to try to help make sure this thing goes smoothly.
What are the suggested hours for trick-or-treating in Eufaula?
We're going to be mainly out from 5:30 to 7:30. So I think after 7:30 is pretty much going to be over. Sometimes you have a few people trickling after that. I think I think it starts around 6 or whatever, 6 to 7:30, whatever. But usually around 7:30 is probably trickling down.
Does the hospital still offer the X-ray of candy and stuff?
I don't know. That's the first time I ever heard that. I would hope they would, but I don't see why they wouldn't. But I don't want to put the hospital on the spot.
The unattended death, that was a natural death.
Correct. It was a natural death, yes.
And the animal killing, was that another animal attacking somebody's pet?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the lady was looking for her dog. I think she had let her dog out. I believe it was a lady, and the dog didn't come back to the house as normal. And when she went outside to look for it, there were 4 dogs around it, and she ran them away. And unfortunately, her dog was dead in the process.
Got a couple of, I don't think they're related to anything that was in the report. Number one, did you know anything about the 3 events I asked the fire department that were going on Friday?
Actually, I didn't. When you asked that question, I was trying to think if I had heard anything on the radio or anything, but don't remember hearing anything about a fire or anything like that that would have all those agencies come in. So I have no clue what that was.
A lot of farmers are burning their fields off now.
Yeah.
Around that.
I'm inclined to believe it might have been something like that.
Other got multiple parts to it. On Thursday, there was a group of officers that were in here from Henry County, as I understand, looking for things at pawn shops, flea markets, and that sort of thing. Do you know what they were basically looking for, or?
Actually, we've had a rash of burglaries, and we're just trying to work with those agencies because they've having the same problems in their agency. So we're just trying to work with those agencies and trying to see if we can put something together as far as trying to stop or minimize these burglaries, getting some idea from where they've been hit, who are some of the key people, names that they're hearing. So we're just getting together trying to get some information about what suspect names are coming up with them compared to what we're getting, and we're just trying to see, and then going to the pawn shop to try to see if any of these items have been brought to the various pawn shops.
Well, I know that part of them, flea market was asked to supply information, and I have nothing wrong with that. But was all of these different flea markets questioned, or just certain ones?
We are actually going to all of them. And our plan is to get to every flea market or pawn shop that we got in town to try to see who's bringing stuff where, and what items they're bringing. So we're not isolating any specific flea market or nothing like that. We're going to all of them.
The rash of burglaries, is it in a specific area?
There's been a lot in the Western Heights area, up around the residential areas across from the nursing homes, stuff like that, but they are sporadic. There are some around other areas too. And we're really trying to get a hand on them. In fact, we had 3 or 4 this past weekend up near off Barber Street and Broad Street area. So we're trying to get a grip on what's going on, who's doing it. We made a couple of arrests last week on burglary. And talking with those guys, we're getting a few names, so we're trying to put all these names together and, like I said, talk with the other agencies who are hearing some of the same names and trying to see what we can do, what's going on for these burglaries and trying to get them stopped.
On the people that you're going and checking, the city's got an ordinance about reporting, record keeping. If you find that one of these shops does not keep records, are you going to enforce that ordinance?
Absolutely, that's what we plan to do. We hope that everybody is abiding by the ordinance.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're not. Yeah, of course, we'll deal with them accordingly, but that's the plan. Try not to bother anybody. We can help it. For the most part, people do comply. But in the event that we have some that don't, we will definitely deal with them.
Okay.